and the little white mouse. Not in the present, nor in distant past, but in a certain deep mountain forest, there lived a little wild mouse. This wild mouse was a very hard worker. Every day, it diligently gathered acorns and stored them beneath the soil, deep inside its cozy cave home. One day, when the mountains were glowing beautifully with autumn colors, the wild mouse was gathering its favorite acorns, just as it always did. As it would, a great old tree watching nearby suddenly spoke to the mouse. "Little wild mouse over there, thank you for carrying our acorns so faithfully every day. Thanks to you and your kind, we trees can continue to grow the forest." The wild mouse was startled by the sudden voice, but quickly replied, "No, thank you for always sharing your acorns with me. I can live my life thanks to you. Thank you always for the wonderfully tasty acorns." A passing wildcat happened to overhear their conversation. So these acorns are very delicious, and that tiny mouse has been storing a great many of them, huh? This is valuable information, the wildcat thought. Careful not to be noticed, the wildcat followed the little mouse as it carried its acorns back to its cave. "Proper meal lately, and I'm absolutely starving," the wildcat muttered to itself. "I'll find that little mouse's home and steal every last one of those acorns." The wildcat licked its lips in anticipation. "I can't wait to eat those acorns." When the little wild mouse returned home, it put the acorns away deep inside its cave, just as it always did. "With this many acorns, I should be able to get through the winter. I can't wait to eat these tasty acorns." The mouse sighed with relief. Just then, the same wildcat from earlier suddenly appeared. "Hey, you little mouse, I'll eat you right now. If you don't want to be eaten, hand over all the acorns you've been hoarding and give them to me." The wild mouse was terrified by the huge wildcat that appeared out of nowhere. Not wanting to be eaten, it cried out, "All the acorns I've gathered are right here." And so the mouse handed over every single acorn it had worked so hard to collect. "Ha ha ha! I can't wait to see how delicious they are. I'll come back again once you've gathered more acorns. Ha 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 ha!" With that, the wildcat started away. The little wild mouse felt frustrated and sad that all the acorns it had collected were taken away. But more than that, it felt truly relieved from the bottom of its heart that it hadn't been eaten. "I can just gather more acorns," the mouse told itself. "I'd better start collecting again before it gets too cold, or I won't be able to make it through the winter." The next day, the little wild mouse began gathering acorns again. And the day after that, and the day after that, it worked hard every single day. The great old tree gently watched over the mouse as it scurried about collecting acorns. And soon the harsh winter began to peek over the mountains. By that time, the little wild mouse had gathered even more acorns than the wildcat had stolen before. "With all of these, I should be able to make it through the winter." The mouse said softly, "Thank you, all you trees of the mountain, for your delicious acorns." Then the mouse took a tiny bite. It tasted just like the deep, gentle flavor of the mountain itself. As the mouse let out a small sigh of relief, it suddenly remembered. "All right," the wildcat said he'd come back once I had gathered more acorns. But the mouse wasn't worried. It had already moved its home to a different place, and the wild mouse also knew something important. Acorns contain a toxin called tannin, and if you eat too many at once, you get a terrible stomachache. This was the story of the hardworking little wild mouse. The end. Thank you for listening. Come back again for another story.